Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another walk, and with me is Harriet and Lola. Hello, Harriet.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, Lola.
Oh, just pushing me into a puddle.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Harriet, we're out on a walk in Shropshire. Where are we?
Well, we're actually just in Shrewsbury still.
Yes.
But we're in a little village. It was a village. It's now sort of joined onto Shrewsbury, called Meole Brace. And it would have been a very pretty little village, sort of set in the countryside. But now it's become part of Shrewsbury, but it still maintains its identity as a village.
Yes, it's actually sort of south of Shrewsbury, but before the ring road, I think?
The old ring road, yes.
Yes. Now, one of the reasons that we've come here is because, I was going to say, unlike Shrewsbury, it's very picturesque, but Shrewsbury is picturesque. But as you approach Shrewsbury, there's a lot of new builds and, modern
retail
urban,
parks and stuff, yeah.
And when the locals think of Meole Brace, they think of the retail park.
Yes.
Because it's not the A49, is it? But it's just off the A5.
It's off the A5, at the junction of the A49 and A5, actually.
Right.
But that's the big sort of first retail park we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to head down here towards this rather charming church. Now, this church that we can see here is actually the fourth church that was built here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, didn't know that.
Well, Meole Brace goes right back to the Bronze Age. And then, of course, that means the Iron Age. And there are traces here of Roman occupation. But there's more from the Saxon period, about 400 years of Saxon occupation in Meole Brace. And actually, it was the hamlet of Mel.
Oh, was it?
Yes, in their language that would have been Melham.
Because if you look at it, the spelling is really strange for
It
meal,
is,
isn't
yes.
it?
Well, towards the end of the Saxon period, it became a royal manor was here.
Ah.
A manor was established, a royal manor, and it belonged to, I have to get my facts right here, Queen Edith.
Right.
And
I've
of course,
never heard of Queen Edith.
Oh, I thought you surely must know that Queen Edith was married to Edward the Confessor.
Ah, no, I didn't know that.
Does nobody know that? No, probably not. I didn't know that till I did my research. So this was a Saxon manor, and there was a little chapel next to the manor house, somewhere here. Which way shall we carry on? Let's go down here, shall we?
Okay.
Away from the
It
church.
doesn't feel like you're in a town, really, does it?
No,
It does feel like a country.
We are.
Very countrified.
Absolutely, beautiful. And I mean, look at all these lovely old
They're massive, aren't they?
grave stones and stuff, yeah. There we go, look at that. Fabulous, and yes, these wonderful trees, and if I had my knowledge of trees organised, I'd be able to tell you what they are, but I think a lot of them are yew trees here. So that's a pretty safe bet in a churchyard.
Yeah.
So let me tell you some more interesting facts that I
Please
found
do.
out. Yes, so the Normans came along, as they did, and Meole Brace was held under the Earl of Hereford
Right.
initially, but by 1200 it was held under the Baron Adolf.
Adolf?
Yes, but not Adolf as in Adolf Hitler.
No, I didn't think so.
A slightly different spelling, but
Okay.
I'm guessing from the spelling the same sort of pronunciation. Adolf, probably. De Bracy.
Ah, no,
And
I've
so-
heard that name before.
And so you had Mel and De Bracy, or Meole and De Bracy, and you ended up then with Meole Brace. So there we are.
What's in there, do you think? Is that the manor?
Let's just have a quick little
Yeah.
peek into Meole Brace Hall. So this would be, I'm guessing, where the latter of the manor houses and the big posh residences would have been.
Yeah.
And we're probably not really supposed to go too far into here without being
No,
arrested.
It did say private drive, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, we can't actually see that. You can kind of get to see a bit of the house from the wall that surrounds it, but that's about
right.
all.
Okay.
So in the Norman period, well, towards the end of the Norman period, you have Meole Brace getting much more established as Meole Brace because of the de Bracy family. And where the church was, a castle was built.
Right.
Now, which way shall we go?
Go this way and we can go around in a loop.
Yeah, okay. So
There's
this
some
is very,
pretty houses
very
along
picturesque,
here.
isn't it?
Yes.
So, I mean, this is all sort of Victorian period of what we're looking at now. But yes, there was a castle, and the castle lasted until 1679,
Right.
upon which it burnt down.
Oh, but why? Arson.
I don't know why. It was a long time ago, and I don't know that that's been necessarily recorded, but you know, fires did break out. Now, I don't know if it was a wooden castle or a stone castle. There's a lot of stone around Shrewsbury, and of course there was the quarry, so it's possible that they could have got some of the red sandstone from the quarry.
Right.
Who knows?
This is Ivy House.
Oh, let's have a look at Ivy House.
Where my, shall I say, where my
Well, it's up to you.
step-grandmother used to live.
Oh, right. Wow. Yeah, no, that's very nice. Let's progress a little bit further past this rather exclusive hedge to stop you peeking in.
Yes. It is a beautiful house.
So they built another church after when the castle was built. So that was I think the third castle. Then 200 years later, they built the final church, which is the one we saw.
Yes.
That was in 1869.
Right.
Cost £7,500,
Yeah.
and it was adjacent to the old church.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that,
Sorry.
is that there were two churches, one next door to the other, which is quite incredible. And they waited until they built the tower, and then they transposed the bells from the older church to the new church,
Oh, right.
and then demolished the old church altogether.
Ah,
So
okay.
quite unusual, really.
Yeah. Oh. Modern day bus.
It says the modern day bus. So all this bit here that we're walking around is the very...
It's very villagey, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing old, beautiful buildings here. Oh, the bus is
Lovely.
reversing.
Oh.
We nearly got squashed there. Oh yes, the old schoolhouse there. And this is a fascinating...
I loved it.
This is a lovely
It's
old
old
building.
school, isn't it? And that's the old school.
Oh, that's the old school.
Yeah.
So what's the old schoolhouse then?
So that's would have been where the probably headmaster's house.
Ah, gosh, how lovely to have lived in a village like this.
It's kept its character though, hasn't
Yeah.
it? Of being its own village.
I mean, the sad part, I think, for Meole Brace now is, of course, it is surrounded rather than by countryside. Oh, there's Mary Webb Cottage. She was a famous, poet, I think,
Yes.
Mary Webb.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Yeah, but sadly, it's surrounded, instead of fields and that sort of thing. We're going to get knocked down by a car now. I'm going to just dip in here. It's surrounded by very much modern buildings, urbanisation,
Yes.
of not particularly great character, one has to say, when you compare it to the buildings that you see here,
Yeah.
which is, of course, a statement of our time, really.
There's another big house there. I mean, if you think when it was a village, it must have been a very prosperous one.
Yes,
To have
definitely.
so many big houses within such a small amount of space.
Yeah, no, very large. And of course, a lot of this is Victorian, what we see. And of course, some of it may have been built on a Georgian period, but not so much of the timber framing. But there may be timber framing inside, because of course, around in Shrewsbury, there's a lot of timber framed houses. It's very cold now. So I think we're going to end our little
We'll come back.
our
now.
little stroll. We're coming back in a complete circle around the tiny little hamlet that was once Melham, Meole Brace now. Thank you, Harriet, for taking us on this delightful little walk.
Yeah, well, you asked me to think of some places and suddenly thought, oh, yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
And we haven't been here for 6 or 7 years.
No, absolutely. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. And Lola didn't get much of a look in this one, so let's let Lola say goodbye. Goodbye, Lola.